Hi, good evening, everyone. Hi, good evening, everyone. Is my audio and video okay? Is my audio and video okay? Good evening, Avinash. Good evening, Neetu. Quickly tell me if my audio and video is okay or not. All okay? Awesome. Awesome. So let's start from today's class. Today we are going to learn one of the most important topic or one of the most lively topic called socket IO or sockets. Wherever you want something to be live, right? Something to be real time. For example, if you want to show a chart on the live data, or you want to create a chatting application, right? Um, or you want the comment section in your YouTube channel, right? Wherever there is a word live or real time, it says that you should use sockets. Okay? So what are sockets? Sockets are basically a different protocol in itself where you are given two-way binding. That is, say if there is a client and there is a server, client can send data to the server, client can also receive the data from the server, server can also send the data to the client, and server can receive the data from the client. That too in real time. Okay, those are basically sockets. You sent some JSON data. Client sends some JSON data to the server. Server sends some JSON data to the client, and things go on. Right? It works the same whether it is a client or it is a server. It has just two functionality. One is to send the data. The other is to receive the data. Okay. So it has only two functions. One is emit and the other one is on. Okay, one is emit, other one is on. It has only two functions. Socket.io has only two functions. If you want to send some data, whether it is on client or whether it is on server, whether it is on front end or whether it is on backend, you call the function emit. If you want to receive some data, whether it is on front end or whether it is on backend, you call the function on. Okay, there are just two functions. I hope this is clear. I hope there are no doubts still here. So suppose you and your friend are talking, right, on a chat. You are sending some data, you are sending some message to your friend. What function are you calling? If you are sending a message to your friend, what function are you calling? You are calling emit, right? If I want if I want to display that message to your friend, what function should I call? I have to call on, right? If your friend want to send you some message, he has to call emit, and to show the message on the UI, I have to call on to get the message. Okay. I hope this is the whole scenario is clear to you. The whole scenario is clear, right? Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Today we are going to create the chatting application that we discussed just now, but I want it to be a little more complicated. Let's step up our game a little bit. There would be the chat box, and there would be three chat rooms where you can enter or leave, right? One is for would be global. The other two would we will name it something else. Let's name it one and two, right? You can enter the chat room and you will receive only that chat room data. You won't receive any other chat room data. Okay? So we are going to create that. Let me show you a demo of what we are going to create. Right. Uh, let's refresh. It will ask you a name and it will join you to a local, to a chat room, to a global chat room, right? There are two other chat rooms where you can select it like this, or you can create your own room, right? If I simply duplicate this tab, get it out, hmm, I hope it is visible to you guys. There are two people in the chat room. One is me, one is ABC. Okay, we both are connected to global chat. If I write something from RAC, ABC will receive. If I write something from ABC, RAC will receive. But if I change the chat room over here, then it will no longer receive my new messages. Okay. See, I am sending a message, but the other person is not receiving it. Why? Because he is connected to a different chat room. If I come back to the chat room that both have joined, now I can send and receive the data. Okay. If we both are connected to the same chat room, we both will receive the data in real time. Okay. I hope the requirement is clear. There would be by default three chat rooms. If both of the person or any number of person is joined in a single chat room, they will receive the data. If they are on different chat room, they will not see the data at all. They will not receive the data. Okay? Awesome. Right. So let's create our front end. Let me just close this, zoom this out. You will need just two things, Express, which is by default, and socket.io. Okay. At this time, I'm using version 1.4.1.3. If they have left the room, they have left the room. New updates they will receive if they rejoin, but the older updates they won't see because we are not storing the messages anywhere. Okay. Is all rooms globally available? No, they all have their separate individuality. Cool. I have some CSS to help me out. I'm not going to waste time writing CSS. I have already installed socket.io at 4.1.3. Okay. Let us first create the front end. Let us have index.html. Right. Now to install socket.io, I'm not going to use React. I'm not going to use anything very fancy. I'm normally going to use normal native JavaScript, right? So I need to use a script tag for that, right? I'm not going to install it using npm module on the front end side. So I need a script tag. Okay. In your head, use script src. Okay. We have our script tag. Let me also include this thing. Let me also include the CSS. It would be in link tag. Hmm. And now let's create our HTML for this. First, we need div class app. Inside that, we need div class chat app. Inside that, we need div class. Let me just copy the HTML from somewhere. Right. So we have added a class app. Inside that, we have a div class chat app. Right. We need to have the sidebar, and we need to get the chat area, and we need the right sidebar. Right. These three sections we need: sidebar, chat area, and the right sidebar. In the chat area, we will have a div class chat and the ID of chat. We have our input and we have our button send. Right? Everything we will add over here itself. Right? Whatever the new messages come. I'm not going too deep into the front end side. So let's just leave that. right? We have our right sidebar. Inside that, we have a span with rooms, and if we have an input with the button plus, right? Let's get to the main part. Let's add app.js. I've included this app.js over here. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. Something crashed over here. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry, something broke over here. Give me 1 second. Let me just fix that. If you want to store charts in which DB is suitable, Redis. If you want to store chart, you can use any kind of DB. But the fastest would be Redis. Redis stores it in the cache. But it does. You have to clear your Redis cache time to time. Okay, sorry for the delay. Let's get started. First of all this code is on front-end side. Okay, so remember that. Let's have this. This IO is coming from the script that we added over here. This script. Okay. Then we need the elements in your front end. So let's add document dot get element by ID, active users list, right? This is the list that is shown over here. Okay, active users. Then we need the room list, which was shown on the right. Document dot get element by ID, active rooms list, right? The message, again document dot get element by ID. We have the ID of message input, where send message button, document dot get element by ID, send message button, right? Where room input whatever we are inputting, document dot get element by ID, room input, right? Uh, room input, create room button equal to document dot get element by ID, room add icon folder. Okay, I'm just getting some elements from the DOM so that I can play with them. Chat display equal to document dot get element by ID chat. Now our main logic starts, right? The by default room, there has to be a by default room, right? Uh, let's call it the current room. It would be global chat. It would be global chat. Okay. And uh, what is the user that is logged in right now, right? So let's have my user name equal to an empty string by default, right? Now we only have two methods. Whenever the socket gets connected, the backend would send it in connect. Okay, so we are receiving something on connect. This is the event that is happening. This is configurable, but we mostly this connect is by default, right? This connect has to be there. The rest everything is configurable. So whenever the socket gets connected, call this function. In this function, I just want my username to be inputted from the user. Okay. When I first entered, when I first entered this application, I entered my name, right? So whenever the connection is established with the backend, whenever the connection is established with the backend, I want to prompt for the username, right? And I want to emit now. Create a new user with this value, my username, right? Let us create the backend code side by side. One second. There is something happening with my system today. I'm not sure why. Anyways. So let's send that event, whatever we have right now. First of all, we need our express, right? This is the backend code. Don't get confused in front-end and backend code. In app.js, I am writing the front-end code. In server.js, I am writing the backend code. Okay. UC Express, that means it is the backend code. And we need a server from socket.io. Great. First, let's create our server as usual. Let's also call the function which socket.io is giving. HTTP dot. First of all, let's have the create server with the Express application, and we need IO that we are using in the front end as well. New server and the server, right? Okay. Again, the same thing. Require some package, call its function with the parameters that it requires, right? That we are doing in every class. We need to give add the middleware for public folder also, right? So let's use app.use express dot static public, right? Uh, and we need to listen to that as well. So let's add server dot listen to, let's say, 5,000 or 4,000, and whenever it is started listening, simply have console.log server running at port 4,000. Right. Now we need to send the connection server, right? We need to we need to first check if the connection is established. Before that, let's have the username, whichever is uh, again same my username which we have on front end. Okay. Whoever is there, let's have all the usernames and the rooms. Okay. All this is a temporary variables. You can store it in somewhere, right? There would be three rooms. One is global chat. The creator of that is anonymous. There would be three rooms. All of the creators would be anonymous. Uh, let's say we have chess and we have JavaScript, right? Now, whenever we set up the connection, we need to update these variables, right? So, io.on, whenever we have the connection on the backend, you have to write everything inside this function, right? It will give you a socket and you will get socket.on over here. In backend, you have to write everything in this function. Just like describe, right? We learned describe yesterday. Same in the same way, you have to write all the ons and emits inside this main on. Okay, this would say that we are connected, and whatever you need to do when connected, you have to write it over here. On the front end, there is no such thing. On front end, you can simply do socket.on, socket.emit one after the other, right? You can also write socket.on over here. But on backend, you have to write io.on connection and all the socket related data inside this. Okay. Whenever the connection is happening, we are sending create user from frontend. So let's accept create user on the backend as well, right? We are sending using emit, we are receiving using on. Okay. And what we need to do when this happens, this will have a name which we are sending from backend. Whatever you send over here, whatever you send over here, you will get in the function parameter. Okay, I'm sending only name over here, so I'm receiving only name over here. It's better only to have one parameter. If you want to send multiple things, you send it in an object or something, right? Now we are emitting from the front end create user. We are accepting that on backend create user and calling this function. We would receive a name in this function. What we want to do is in this socket, this is also an object. Everything in JavaScript is an object, right? Let's extend this object socket.username equal to the name that we are getting over here, right? And let's add them into usernames as well. Usernames name equal to name. Okay, or let's call it the username over here. Wherever there is name, let's use username. Right. Okay. And we have to set why I'm setting it in socket itself so that I can access it anywhere. This socket will not change. This object will not change throughout. Okay, so if I extend the socket itself in any ons and emits, I can get the same value. Right? I can store it also somewhere. I can store it in the database and fetch it from the database. Or I can use a global variable, but since this socket is not going to change, just like we extended request dot user, right? Request dot user. Same way we are doing with sockets as well. Okay. At this time, the current row would be global chat only. Now, to join some specific room, so that your messages are bound to that room only, we have something called socket.join. Okay, and you write whatever uh, name over here. It accepts a string. It will join that to that specific thing. Now, whatever connections socket will have, whether it is on or emit, it will be related to global chat, right? So basically, your socket will become something like this. We will have global chat, and inside this, we will have message one way of the message and to and from message. Okay, on and emit. Similarly, if we have multiple things, so we will have multiple same thing. For example, in chess, it would be an object as well with to and from. Okay, so to join a room, we have to use a function called socket.join, right? And when we have joined the room, let's emit uh, update chat. This can be named anything. I am just writing update chat over here. I am sending two things, right? This emit, where will it go? It will go to the front end, right? You have joined global chat room. Okay. If I am emitting over here, let us receive it over here as well. I hope you guys are understanding it is not getting too confusing. Is it getting too confusing? Chat current room property available in the socket object. We have created it. See, we have extended this username and current room, right? We are emitting update chat. We should receive update chat over here. Update chat. What I want to do in update chat, I will receive two things. I will receive info and I will receive the message, right? So let's call it username only and data. Inside this function, if your username or type, whatever you want to call it, is info, in the, what did something happen? In the chat room, right? In the chat display dot inner HTML, I want to set up the message, right? Let's set up div class with announcement, right? I hope you guys are not getting confused. Inside that, let's have a span with the data that we are sending, right? Let's close the span and let's close the div, right? Uh, let's just check if everything is working fine or not. Server is running at port 4000. Let's open 4000. IO is not defined. Okay. I think I messed up something in the HTML index.html. 1 second. Let me just add everything, right? What is this? Right. Okay. IO is not defined. IO is not defined. Okay. Let me just see what is happening. We are at day 12. Let me just get the index.html from here. Right. Over here, I have integrity and cross origin and all these things. I think that is the issue. Let me just see. Yes. So we are connected. We are sending our username and we are receiving. You have joined the global chat. Okay. Let me just revise everything real quick. We have our socket from socket.io. We have put it in script.js, right? And we have socket.on connect. Whenever the connection is successful, we are saying prompt, enter your name. When the user enters the name, we are uh, emitting create user with the name that they have emitted. This create user goes over here in your server side, right? And we get the name in this. Whenever we get the name, we extend it in the socket with the current room as global chat, username as name. We have a global variable as usernames. We are putting it in the usernames, right? We are joining the chat room and we are emitting back update chat with the info you have joined a global chat. Okay, that is coming over here, socket.on update chat function, username and data. If it is info, we are setting the chat display in our HTML as the data that we are sending. Okay, let me just wait over here and see if there are any doubts. Are there any doubts? Not understood the join method. Okay. Did you come late to the class, Yogesh? See, our use case is our use case is whenever a user comes, first of all, we have to enter his name, right? And by default, there would be three different chat rooms with individuality, right? Any person who is present in global chat cannot access the messages coming in chess or cannot access messages coming in JavaScript. If a person is in chess, he cannot access global chat or messages coming in JavaScript, right? So they are called chat rooms. Understood? So this is our requirement. Whenever we are setting up, there are three different chat rooms. A person who is in global chat cannot will not receive messages coming in chess or in JavaScript. Similarly, in other cases, right? So to do that, we have a method called socket.join. This basically creates a chat room, right? Now all the messages scope is limited to this global chat. Now you guys understood? See, we are doing this because we are going to extend it. Okay, these are project level logic. Now, on method is used to send some data. Sorry, it is used to receive some data, and emit is used to send some data. And both frontend and backend has the same on and emit, right? So here, first of all, we have written if your socket is connected to backend, if we have on connect, it is connected to backend. Set up our username, prompt our username, right? And emit back. One second. Let me show you via diagram. Hmm. We have our front end, we have our backend. Okay. Front end is saying whenever you connect, request the username and send back a event called create user. Okay. Uh, Prompt on connect. First of all, on connect, prompt username and send this to backend inside an event called create user. Okay. Now backend will receive it inside on with the same name create user, right? So this is server.js. We have create user. Inside that we receive our username. Now whenever we receive a username, we have to join it to a by default state, by default your chat room, right? Which is called global chat. So we say socket.join global chat and we emit back update chat with an info of you have joined global chat. Now it is emitting back with update chat. Okay. So they are backend is sending update chat with two things, with two parameters, info and some text, right? We are receiving it over here inside update info. We are receiving two things, update username and data, right? If the username is info, we are setting up the div inside your chat room. Okay. I hope now you guys understood the whole flow of what is happening. Now do you guys understood? This app.js is front end, the server.js is backend. Awesome. 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 Right. Uh, if suppose we are clicking on the send button, if suppose we are clicking on the send button, I want to send an event back to backend. Send message button dot add event listener. Click. Right. If I am clicking on the send message button, I want to do socket dot emit send message, right, with the uh, message dot value. Line number 12, this my username. We are going to use everything, Sandeep. We are going to use everything. Don't worry. I'm just doing one thing at a time. There would be three different rooms, right? So on the front end, we need a control of what is the current room that is selected. Okay? We are going to use everything. Just be patient. right? Inside this, we will have message dot value, whatever we have written in the input box. Okay. And when it is sent, we are going to set it again to null or empty thing, right? This message is coming from the message input. Whatever we are inputting it over here, on click of this, we have to send it to backend and again set it and again set this to an empty string. Okay. Now, if we are emitting it from here, we should receive it over here on our server. Right? Video not showing clear. I can see it clearly. Maybe your internet is lagging. Now, over here, we would use socket.on send message function, whatever the data frontend is sending, right? And what do we want to do with the message that we are receiving? We have to send this message to every person who is joined in the chat room. So if suppose me and you are joined in the global chat, if I'm sending some data, then you should also receive it, right? To do that, we have io dot sockets dot to socket dot connection socket dot current room dot emit update chat of every person who is present in the room, right? And do socket dot username and send the data that it is sending. Okay, so we want to send just to that specific room, right? Just to do that, yes, we can use broadcast as well. Just to do that, we have to write, we have to specify which specific room we want to send the data to, right? So we use our global IO, which is here, right? In all its sockets, find out the room with the room with the current name and emit this message over there, right? We cannot use broadcast over here. There is also a method called broadcast. We cannot use broadcast over here because the purpose of broadcast is to broadcast to every possible person there is who is connected to the socket, right? But we want to send it to a specific the current room only. Okay, so we have to use emit over here. In the sockets, find out the room with the current room name, right? And emit use update chat to with this specific username and the data. Where are we getting data in line number 23? In line number 23, 23 is empty. This data, this data I'm sending back, right? If I'm sending a message with the message value, what suppose I send hi, and all of you are connected over here, right? All of you should receive hi. But if suppose somebody else is live over here with the same channel, they should not receive my hi, right? So to do that, I am sending hi to the server. Server is filtering this data according to the current room that I have joined in and sending the update chat over there. Okay. I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear. Yes, update chat, we are using it to update uh, the inside of this chat, right? If it is not clear, just let me know. I can show you it in the whiteboard as well. Right. Now, if it is not in info, that is, we are receiving an actual message, right? So inside chat display dot inner HTML, whatever we have, just add this string over there. We do not have two update chats. We do not have two update chat, Haruna. See, we are accepting only one update chat on the front end. We are accepting it. That is why this if condition is there, right? If that is an info, just do this, right? Otherwise, we have to handle all the messages. We can send, we can emit as many as we want, as many update chat as we want, right? We can emit as many events as we want, but we can receive only one. They cannot be two socket.on. They can be as many as socket.emits. Okay? I hope that is clear, Haruna. Awesome. Okay. So over here, let me just copy the HTML of this as well. Right. We have the message holder with the username as my username. If if it is me only, it would say me, otherwise nothing, and it would add the data with the username and the data in the chat. Okay. Whenever this is done, I want to scroll to the bottom, right? I always want my chats at the bottom because I am adding it in the HTML, right? In the bottom itself. So I want my scroll to be at the bottom. To do that, I just write this line. Line number 23. It is even over here also. It is empty. Okay. I want to scroll at the bottom, so I have written this line. The scroll top should be scroll height. Okay. Let us let us see if this is working. Let me just refresh it once. Right. We are sending it. By the way, you can see the sockets over here, right? All these in the network tab, you can see the sockets. The socket URL is also an API call only. It looks like this: HTTP localhost 4000 socket.io with some data. right? Uh, if I send hi, let's see if a socket call goes. Yes. So it is sending it back to the backend. Backend is projecting it everywhere in the room, right? And it is calling update chat. Update chat is updating the your UI. Okay. Let me just duplicate this and see if it is working for two users. See, it is also receiving messages. I am able to send messages also. Okay, awesome. Our message sending capacity is fully complete, right? Let me again revise what is happening. On the front end, whenever we connect, we ask for the username. We send this username to backend. In backend, we join a global chat room, right? We join it in the global chat room and we emit back the success message that you have joined the global chat. You have joined the global chat room. Whenever we receive it, we have to update the chat room. So we updated chat room using chat display.innerHTML plus equal to your data, right? Now, if I click on the send button, I want to send the message to everybody who is available to the chat room. So what I did was add event listener, click, emit this send message with the value. It goes to the backend, right? And what we want to do is whoever is connected to that chat room, we want to emit the message to everybody who is connected to that chat room. So we emit the update chat with the username and the data. It comes back over here in the update chat. In the else statement, I have just uh, entered a new chat bubble with the username and the data. Okay, and whenever there is a new chat, I want to scroll to the bottom. Cool, cool. There are no doubts. There are no doubts. Awesome, awesome. We are not allowing that, Sandeep. That is a bug, but yes, this is a demo. Understand this. I'm not making a full-fledged application over here. This is a demo. How do new users see how chat? See, who have new user will not see the previous chat because we are not storing it anywhere, right? If you want that functionality, then you have to store the chats at some place in any of the database of your choice, right? Or in cache or anywhere. So whenever a new user joins in, we are sending back the update chat, right? With this update chat, we can send in the data as well. We can add a new uh, back, right? We can make a database call. We can send in the previous datas over here, right? So you will get all the previous data and you will say that you have joined a global chat. Okay, Haruna? Right. Now, if I want to update the rooms, if you want to update the rooms, okay, if you want to connect to a different this thing, different room, let me just see what is the click event for those. Right, active rooms list. We have to populate the active rooms list. Do we have active rooms list over here? Yes. In the rooms list, we have to populate the data, right? Whenever there is a click on the rooms list, first of all, let me just populate the data over there. Uh, are we sending update rooms, right? Okay. Let me just add the rooms list. Let me just make it default. Rooms info, pick rooms item, rooms list, active rooms list. Get it as HTML, copy, paste it here, and see if this is getting updated. Yes. Now if I click on these, right, the ID over here is room info. One second, let me see if I missed something out. On click, we have change room. Right. We have an on-click event. Let's add that on-click event at the bottom. Let's have a function called change room with the room that we want to connect to. If your room is not equal to current room, then only we want to do something, right? Suppose if a person comes and clicks on global chat again and again and again, we do not want to send unnecessary events. So I have written a condition: if the room is not your current room, then only do socket dot emit with update rooms and the room data. Okay, room name. Now we want to make it active in the front end, right? So we will get element by ID. What is the current room? Dot class list dot remove. I want to remove active item class from here, right? And update our current room to the room that we have sent, right? And update the add it to the room that we are sitting, right? So whenever we click on change room, I am simply emitting update rooms, right? And I want to remove the active item class from whatever is selected right now, and I want to put to the whatever is I am selecting currently. Let's also listen to update room. So let's have socket.on update room, right? A function, a callback with the room name. Okay, here we can use socket.broadcast. Okay, there is also a broadcast with broadcast to everywhere, but it has a method called to as well. So either we can do it like this to that specific room, but here we are changing the rooms, right? We are changing the rooms. So we want to send to everybody that the room has been changed. Socket dot connection, socket dot current room. See, what we want to do is whenever we are changing, right? We have to say that okay, somebody has changed the room, right? Say suppose both of them are in the same room, right? If now this person changes the room, I have to say you have joined chess room, and over here I have to say ADC left the room, right? I have to say that this person left your current room. So that is why I'm using broadcast over here because I have to broadcast this to every person. Dot emit again update chat of type info, and I have to write this socket dot your username plus has left the room. Okay, left room. Everybody understood why we are doing this? Because we have to show that this person has left the room. We have to show it everywhere to every person, right? Is there any doubt over here? Just like we joined, now this person, since he has left this chat room, we have a function called leave. Okay, we have to leave the current room, and we have to join again with whatever room frontend is sending. If there are any doubts, please let me know. The current room is the new room that frontend is sending, and we have to join that room, right? And we have to send everybody. We have to send whoever is already present in the room. We have to say that this person has joined the room. How do we do that? We will emit to update chat with info. You have joined this room, right? and we have to send everybody with the same room. Just you have to again have, just like we have this usernames, right? We have this usernames, Mayur. If you want to limit the number of persons present in a room, just have the length of this usernames. Every time a person joins the room, just check the length of the username, right? And if the length is more than the capacity, simply send an info that you cannot join the username. Put everything, all these things inside an if, right? And just say that you cannot join the room. Understood, Mayur? Right. Now we have to broadcast that this person has joined the room. We have to broadcast to this room, right, with a info that socket.username has joined this, right? Whenever I am clicking on the room change, I am emitting a message to update rooms with the room name, right? And I am changing the active class over there. I have to broadcast to everybody that this person has left the room. I have to make the person leave the room. I have to update the current room for that user, and I have to join the new room. Again, I have to emit that you have joined this room, and to everybody else, I have to send a message that this person has joined this room. Okay, let me just refresh and show you if that is working or not. Let's refresh. Have a thing. Let's refresh it over here as well. Yes, you have joined the global chat room over here. If I change, so I get a message, you have joined chess. Over here, I get a message, RAC left the room. Okay. I hope the room concept and socket concept is clear. Let me let me just stop over here. Right, to join a room, what is a chat room? Chat room is basically a defined set of constraints where a person can join a room, send messages only in that room, right? And other chat rooms are not accessible. So suppose there are multiple rooms in your house. You can talk only in a room in which you are present. You cannot talk in some other rooms, right? And the person and all the people who are present in the room can listen to you and can communicate back. But other people who are in different room cannot communicate with you, right? So the same concept applies over here. In your front end, you have socket dot on, and you just have to remember two functions, on and emit in most of the cases, right? I wanted to give you an advanced overlook on this, so I used other rooms wala concept. Otherwise, in most of the cases, you just need to use on and emit. On the front end, whenever the connection establishes, we are accepting a username. We are emitting this create user to backend with the username. Whenever that create user happens, we are updating our global states and we are sending back update chat with an info of you have joined the global chat room, right? This update chat comes back to your front end over here. with a username of info. If there is an info, just set the inner HTML to this div, which will look something like this, right? Now what I want to do is I want to send a message. If I send a message, either I add an event listener called click. I send message event in the emit with the message value. This send message, I receive it over here and send it to the joined room, right? Emit inside the joined room with the username and data. This update chat, what we do in update chat, if that is info is not there, then we update the chat bubble with the username and data, right? Now, if I want to change the room, I emit update rooms and I change the classes. That update room comes over here on the backend, right? I broadcast to every user that this person has left the room. I call this leave function that this person is leaving the room, right? I update the current room of that person. If the person is, I update the current room of that person using join in the socket, and I emitted that you have joined this specific room. And to others who are already present in the room, I broadcast that this user has joined this room. Okay, I hope there are no doubts. Socket object will belong to one room at a time. Yes. If you want to implement one-to-one chat, uh, just add have a room with a limit of two, right? You are adding whoever is joining the room in usernames, right? Simply over here, uh, simply over when a new user joins, right? Simply add a limit that more than 2% cannot join the room, right? Simply just check the length of this usernames. That's it. Okay. I hope everything is clear. There are just two methods that you need to remember: on and emit. Emit is for sending data, whether on front end or whether on backend. On is to receive data, whether on front end or whether on backend. On the backend, you have more functions like join, broadcast, right? To basically do anything. You can find the code in the link below. I will meet you in the Mahasabha VC. That is all for today's class, right? Let me meet you in the Mahasabha VC for all your doubts. Peace.